Okay, hang on. I'm not going to share here. Forgive me. You mentioned briefly about the food you're going to eat and the weight you're going to gain and such like. Yes? So I'm curious. You also mentioned going back into the gym for bodybuilding. Now, I've known you as a bodybuilder for years. So please help us. You can open your mic and speak, or you can put in the chat. What do you find to be the value of training, preparation, learning, eating well, all the things you invest time in to make you good at what you do as someone as young and vibrant as you are? Give us an idea of what that's like for us, please.
Oh, I love the finished product. When I'm in the zone trying to prepare for a competition, the first 30 days are very difficult. I'm accustomed to eating what I want, sitting on the couch looking at Facebook. But when I'm actually in the zone after the first 30 days, I'm in the gym on a regular basis, eating well, my mind is set. At my age, it's very challenging because most of my competitors are half my age. But
Mm.
once I get in the zone, the finished product, the way that my body looks is the motivating factor. When people see me in the stores or at the gym, when they feel that they can't do something, and then they see me, they say that I motivate them, especially when they realize what my age is. Because I'm not 20 or 30 any longer. I qualify for Medicaid in January.
Oh, God bless you, darling.
Yes, I qualify in January. So I really like the finished product. I like how it's motivating for other people, other women, other men, and children. I just like the overall finished product.
Okay, now I'm having an issue with my camera here. I
Well,
hope I can fix it. It's trying to get back to me.
we can hear you.
Okay, we have technical issues sometimes. We're going to make it work. Okay, now the reason why I asked for your help here, I do want to point out an issue, or should I say, an important point you made. You mentioned the journey of preparation, which was important. I get that. However, you said the finished product. Then you said people see you and they notice what your work has produced. Here's my point regarding taking time and investing time. Yes, invest time in yourselves. Invest time. Okay, let me try something different here. Let me try something different here. Okay. I'm going to use voice on one and camera on another. How does that sound? So if you, Mr. Zoom Master, if you want to spotlight me, look for Mark Brown CSP second laptop. We'll use that one for my visual until the other one gets prepared. Thank you so much, Juan, if you want to do that. All right. You said people see you and they see the result of your work. What does that mean for you, friends? It means for you that the work you put in to improve yourself, to make yourself better, will show with the people that you work with. They'll show with your team. They'll show in the people who serve with you. They'll show in your workplace. It'll show up in your neighborhood. The work you put in by putting time into being better at what you do will also show in your Toastmasters club, in your area, in your district. Take time to work on yourself. Take time to accept challenging projects. Take time to do the path you don't want to do, to take the path you are reluctant to take, because in so doing, you will find you improve yourself as an individual. Yes, maybe as a speaker and a communicator, but since you're a leader, better communicators are better leaders. So I invite you to invest that time, take that time to build you, to work on you, because a better you serves a better world. That may sound cliche, but the better we are at what we do and the better we are at who we are, the greater our impact will be on the people around us. So first, take time, but also take your time. There's a 16th century Persian Iranian poet named Sadi, and he said, have patience. All things are difficult until they become easy. That applies to those of us who find ourselves sometimes thrust in a role, like maybe being asked to be TLI Dean on short notice, And we wonder how in the wide world of sports are we going to do this? And it seems so hard. I can't do it. It's impossible. There's no way I can do this. That may happen. That you may feel that. And trust me, there have been times I felt that. Matter of fact, when you think about the big picture, I know we're at Toastmasters here, but can I apply some real life to this? Think about your first time being a parent. I can recall when the doctor told my wife, "You're going to have a baby," unexpectedly. And I thought to myself, how can I do this? I'm not prepared for this. I'm not qualified. I'm not equipped for this. Take time. Be patient. All things are difficult until they become easy, and they become easy in three ways, in my opinion. One, it takes time, yes, time, practice, and support of those who see in you what you may not yet see in yourself. So let me ask a question real quickly. I'm going to go to gallery view just to see if I can get a response here. And please show hands, raise hands if you wish also. But indicate to me if you ever in Toastmasters found yourself fulfilling a role for which you were not prepared, that someone said you can do it, but you reluctantly did it anyway. I see hands all over. You never thought you could do it. It was difficult at first. Look at all the hands. Wonderful. Why? Thought he was right. All things are difficult until they become easy if you take your time, over time, and work with those who see in you. This is beautiful. The number of hands, different complexions I see on the screen is absolutely remarkable. It is beautiful. And I thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sharing that. So I say, take time and take your time. Saudi was right. And sometimes we don't take our time, we end up making mistakes. Please do not raise your hand if you do this. But you get ideas, you get enthusiastic, and you want to rush through and get it done, get it done, get it done. Right? We're told to hurry up, get it done, get it done, get it done. And I know I confess there have been times I've also found that I wanted to get something done too quickly and it didn't work. And that happens not only here in Toastmasters, it happens in real life. I mean, I grew up as a mainframe computer programmer back in the 1980s. I worked for a bank in New York years ago, and I was a new kid on the block. I've been on the job maybe a week and a half. I'm at my desk with papers around me, and my boss, I'll call him Steve because his name is Steve. He came waddling over to me one day, and Steve reminded me of Penguin, as played by Burgess Meredith in the 1960s Batman series, whack, 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 whack. And Steve came over, man. He's like, walk, 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 walk. I got a job for you to do. And the gentleman handed me a job request on a paper napkin. I'm like, wait, time out here. What do you mean paper napkin? He says, Mark, it's Monday. I gotta get it by Thursday. But Steve, I want to get a scope statement and a job request. And no, we got to get done now. Get done now. I said, okay. And Steve waddled away. Now I'm the new kid on the block, and I hear in my cubicle behind me. If you've ever lived in a cubicle at work, you know what that looks like, right? Like a big old cubicle with all the, like, think of Office Space, right? I hear psst behind me. It's Silent Dave. Silent Dave for a reason. He talks to nobody. So I look over and I see Silent Dave. Hey, new guy. Was that Steve? Uh-huh. Let me guess. He gave you an assignment on a paper napkin, right? Yeah, how do you know? That's Steve. He always does that. Do yourself a favor, guy. Don't do anything for 3 days. Oh, you kidding me? He's my boss. I can't not do his work. Trust me. He's going to come back to you and change his mind. I know Steve, but I can't do it. He's my man. 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. And Silent Dave was gone. And I got to work because Steve said, get it done now. We haven't got time to waste. I put my head down, put 3 other projects aside. And Thursday, Steve came over. Hey, Mark. I think I gave you on Monday. Forget it. Not gonna do it. Okay, just forget it. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye. Waddled away. 3 days. 3 days. I put 3 projects aside, and he says, don't do it. And then I heard it. He was silent, Dave. Without saying a word, he told me, I told you so, because he knew that Steve was always acting in haste. Steve never took the time. Steve was always in a rush. It cost 3 man days of my time, and it makes me wonder if we don't take time and use time well and wisely, could we waste our time, other people's time, or organization's time? Now, again, do not raise your hands, do not move a muscle, do not even smile if perchance you've encountered individuals in leadership who refused to take time, who didn't take their time, who didn't maximize their time. May that never ever be your experience. I encourage you all to use your time well, to take time and take your time as you encourage each other, as you grow like that bamboo, which does take its time until the point at which it is ready. Thank you, Cherise. How did you know I would talk about this today, Cherise? Are you clairvoyant, sister? You got me right here. You got me right here. Thank you so much. But you get the message. When we take time and take our time and take careful use of our time, then we truly can grow like that bamboo shoot, strong, resilient, unbreakable, unwavering. District 103 Toastmasters, take time and take your time. The first facet of the T factor to grow as a leader and grow other leaders as well. Grow other leaders as well. That's going to require some teamwork, which is the second T in our T factor. And I will confess, I'll spend a little bit more time on this for a couple of personal reasons. I have come to understand that teamwork has become a key in the process of building a solid club, a solid area, a solid division, and a solid district. And there may be mixed feelings about this being the last TLI as District 103 because of the realignment. But when you finish strong, like that bamboo, to do that is going to take serious teamwork. I hadn't thought much about teamwork recently, but here I am in central Georgia. I live out in the country in a small town. It has no traffic lights. I live out in the country, and I base myself in my house. I have 2 windows that lead to my backyard. And on any given day, I'll see chipmunks, rabbits, turtles. I'll see squirrels. I'll see deer almost every day, not so much in the wintertime. And once in a while, I'll even see a rat snake or two. My wife is not too pleased by that. But I recall looking out the window recently and I noticed an ant hill in the backyard. The ants aren't really a problem, but I was intrigued. I gave myself permission to leave my workspace and go outside and just look at the anthill. It brought me back to my childhood days in Kingston, Jamaica, just watching the anthills. I know people have ant farms. You can watch the ants build their colony. It's kind of cool. But I went outside to this anthill. It wasn't super large, but it was being disturbed by what appeared to be a grasshopper. If you ever watch ants, when a creature disturbs their anthill, they are none too pleased by it. Now, an ant, in terms of size, is probably 1/100th the size of a grasshopper. But when it disturbed the hill, suddenly a swarm of ants appeared. They laid siege to this creature, and they began to literally pull it limb from limb. And I realized, yeah, I've seen it before. I didn't really think about it before, but these ants were all working together. Not every ant came out. Some were still inside the colony. Some were tending to the babies. You know, they had the queen there. They had these workers, but they came out and they tackled this thing. I couldn't stay very long. Came back to my office and began to do some more work. A couple of hours later, I thought, you know what? I wonder how those ants handled that grasshopper. I went back outside to the anthill, and to my amazement, I could not see the grasshopper. I think I saw part of a wing lying somewhere, and the anthill had been rebuilt. I began to think to myself, wait a second, one ant could never take on a grasshopper, but en masse they did. They consumed it, took it apart, brought parts in to feed the larvae inside the hill, and they reconstructed the hill. And I realized those ants alone, singularly, could never do the job, but they were stronger together. They were stronger as a team. I began to think about that in terms of how it relates to us as human beings. And I realized also that each ant had its role and responsibility in the team. Now, I've been a Toastmaster since 1993, which makes me old. And I've been around long enough to see where some teams fracture because of egos, because of concerns that somebody has about their role, and there are individuals who don't want to do certain roles because that's not for me. I want to be a leader. I've been to district events where individuals were running for office just to put a badge on their chest. And when they didn't win the election, they disappeared. They were never team players. They simply wanted to be told, I want to be CGD, I want to be PQD, I want to be DD, I want to be this. It was about themselves. Did not win the election, never to be seen or heard from again. Clearly not team players. Others feel my role is not that significant. I'm not the leader on the team, I'm just a lowly team member. And I can't really do much. And they don't assign much value to what they do. In the anthill, some may be workers, some may be in the nursery, but each ant has its role and responsibility. And for the anthill to function properly, each ant must fulfill their role. Does that kind of make sense? I shouldn't have been an older person to figure this out or to realize this, because sometimes in life we kind of go by and not see the value of real life experience and what the little ant can teach us. An old book of wisdom, I think it says, King Solomon says, go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. I guess he was talking to me. He said the ant can teach you a lot. And those ants taught me, one, the power and value of teamwork, yes. But the ants also taught me the power and value of teamwork when you might not even think your role is valuable. You may think your role is insignificant. There are those who may think, I am only a sergeant at arms. I urge you to remove the word only from that sentence. If you want to write something down, write this down. Your role is invaluable. You must be reliable. Your role is invaluable. You must be reliable. This may sound like a brag. It is not my intent. Please understand this. I went to my first Toastmasters meeting on Thursday, December 10th, 1992. Almost 33 years ago, my first meeting. I was overwhelmed by what I saw, and I thought I couldn't do what these people do. And over time, as you know, I gained some prominence, recognition. I went to the Toastmasters speech contest, 94, did not win. I went back in 95 and was blessed to walk away as a world champion of public speaking. 30 years ago, this past August, I cannot believe that time has flown by so quickly. But in that 30 years, I've been honored to visit districts and areas and divisions across the globe. And people look at me, oh, Mark Brown, world champion. And let's be honest here. Sabishen Gupta won the world title back in August. He is now enjoying celebrity status. He has earned it. And even after 30 years, there are those who think of me as a rock star. Someone even said to me that they were starstruck this week. I'm not going to say who said that. Look for their face, look for the guilt. They were starstruck by me. And I told them, listen, on a Tuesday night, I take out the trash. After dinner, I wash the plates by hand in my house. If not, my wife gives me the look. My point is, I'm a regular guy. However, when I travel internationally, I do get really good treatment. I get lauded, I get praised, I get asked for photographs and autographs, and it's kind of cool. But I still attend Toastmasters. My club is Macon Toastmasters Club, Macon, Georgia. A small club. We have hybrid meetings. I generally attend here from my home at 6:30 at night because my days are so busy, but I go frequently. I often go with no role assigned, and I'm asked, Mark, will you do topics today? Sure. Mark, will you be Toastmaster? Yes. An evaluation? Of course. I don't see my position as exempting me from serving where asked. And this is not just about me. Being a part of the team, I was in Canada for a district conference several years ago, and I walked in as the guest world champion keynote speaker. And I went to the registration desk to pick up my credentials. And the man behind the desk is someone I'd known for several years. Mark, good to see you. Welcome. Here's your packet. We reached over and he hugged me. I said, Neil, you're serving at this desk. What an example of teamwork and leadership. Neil Wilkinson, distinguished Toastmaster, past international president of Toastmasters International, serving at the registration desk of his district conference. I've seen past President Deepak Menon do the same. These are the top of the top of the top international presidents serving at the registration desk. No matter what you may think about your role today, your role is invaluable and you must be reliable. It took me a while to get that through my head because, as I mentioned earlier, I did not run track or anything like that. My sport was football, called soccer, here in North America. And as I think about this idea of teamwork and valuable roles, it occurred to me that lesson should have come to my brain years ago in the 1970s. Back in 1970, this is when I was in high school, 1976, I was in high school. I made my high school football team, which may not seem like a big deal to anybody here right now, but let me clarify this very quickly. In Jamaica, back in the 70s, high school football, a country of 1.8 million people total, high school football was it. We had 5, 10, 15,000 people coming to watch a high school football game. And to make my team was a big deal. We had 18 uniforms. And the first day of tryouts, we had tryouts, 150 boys showed up for 18 shirts. To make the team was a big deal, and I made it. And we played back then in the National Stadium, the only stadium in the country at the time. One stadium where our national team played, we got to play on that pitch. It was awesome. And in 76, we had one kid, his name was Leo. He was the only kid who did not get any playing time throughout the whole season towards the end. We also played international rules in high school football in Jamaica. When you sub out, you're out. You don't go back in. In America, you can go back and forth. Not in Jamaica. When you're out, you're out. So everyone had to fight for their place. And Leo kept training and practice. He wouldn't miss a practice, but he was never picked by coach until the last game of the season. A cup semifinal. We were losing 2-0. About 10 minutes to go, and one of our star defenders got injured. And Leo was a fullback. And coach looked down the bench, and he saw Leo. And he said, Leo, get warm. You're going to go in for Gilly. There's 10,000 people at the stadium. And Leo gets up off the bench, and he starts to do jumping jacks. It gets warm. People saying, Leo is finally going to get to play. What? And within a minute or two, Leo began what I call the walk. They had placed the substitute benches at the very end before the grandstand, and the way our stadium is built in Jamaica, he had to walk down a sloped cycling track, across a long jump pit, across 8 lanes of running track to get to the sidelines. And Leo made the walk down the cycling track, across the long jump pit, across the track to the sidelines, and he looked at the official and said, I'm going to go in for number 5. Said, hold on, son. And he calls the referee over. The referee comes over and says, what's up? He said, sir, I'm going in for number 5. He's injured. I said, no, son, you can't go in. Your team has used their full complement of subs for the game. That can't be right because the coach said to come. Well, get the coach. The game stops. 10,000 people are watching. They call Coach McCoy, who comes down the cycling track, across the long jump pit, across 8 lanes of running track, and he says, what's up, ref? Sir, this kid can't go in. You've used all your subs. That can't be right. Here's my list right here. We had 2 subs, a goalkeeper who's separate, and the rule says we can have 3 subs plus the goalkeeper. What's the problem? Well, coach, you're wrong. The rule says you can get 3 subs, including the goalkeeper. This kid can't go on. He must go back to the bench. He turned, went back to the field, blew his whistle. Let's go. And Leo turned around to face 10,000 people. And he walked across 8 lanes of running track, across the long jump pit, up the slope cycling track, and took his seat on the end of the bench. In this, the last game of the season. And 10 minutes later, the game ended. The season ended. Leo had not gotten 1 minute of playing time, and he was embarrassed in front of 10,000 people. I can remember it like it was yesterday, and I still remember his full name. Leo Brown. Mark Leo Brown. That was me. And I had a choice.
So this is
What do I do
Mario
there?
went through his target.
What do I do there? Do I just say, hey, I'm going to quit?
Thing,
Do I say,
but
I'll never start again? What do I do?
he might need to like
I'm
watch
hearing
somebody.
someone talking.
Someone is
who's been
talking.
stuck in
Please
it.
mute.
We invite you to mute yourselves, please, so we don't have a conflict. Thank you so much. So in that moment, I thought, well, that's life. But the very next day, I had my buddies, my boys, my friends, and they laughed. Man, you got messed up, brother, in front of all those people. I hate it. Sucks to be you, man. Ha 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 ha. How will you feel? I realized then I had a choice. I could quit or work harder and be resilient like that bamboo. 1 year later, the following summer, I went back to tryouts. I made a team again. September 1977, I went back to that stadium. I went back down that cycling track, across that long jump pit, across 8 lanes of running track, and I took my place as the starting right fullback of my high school team, which finished number 2 in the nation that year. Not a brag, but I learned a lesson along the way. It didn't click the first time. I was the last sub on the bench. My job, my role, was to help the starting players get better. They needed numbers to do 11 on 11. They needed numbers. I was a number. But I learned later, it didn't hit me then, as they improved, I improved. As they got better, I got better. Are you hearing this? You may think your role is number 18 on the bench. You'll never get real game playing time. But as you help those who are serving with you to improve, so too will you. And the day will come, and for you has come, where you are the starting player who is helping someone who's on the bench to up their game as well. That's how teams work. My coach, Alty McCoy, always said, a team is only as strong as the weakest sub off the bench. Your role may seem insignificant. Your role may seem only this or only that. You may not get the flowers, the accolades, the cheers of the crowd, but your role is invaluable. You must be reliable. And it also goes for those who are enjoying the limelight. Never discount or devalue those who serve with you. In my talks to leaders across the world, I no longer talk about employees. I talk about team members. And the thoughts are now shifting in the public sector and in private business about how they view those who work not for us, but work with us. Toastmasters, we're a family. We have the blessing now through technology to meet our family members in all parts of the world, and we can learn from each other. We can help each other. We can instruct each other. We can guide each other. We can support each other. That's what teams do. You're part of different teams. One team is here, D103, which will change next year. I know that. But you're also part of Toastmasters family worldwide. And you have value in your skill set. And do not discount the value you bring with your working skill sets to a Toastmasters environment. Let's not divorce one from the other, because you bring all of you, your experience, your growth, your value, your expertise, lessons learned from your life, lessons learned from being a parent or grandparent, from being a spouse, lessons learned from your life losses. You bring all of that to your leadership team, because then you can have compassion for those who are going through a hard time. It's not just about forming a committee to pull off a conference. It goes way beyond that. It goes to a mindset. Indeed, it goes to a heart set that says, I will do all I can in my role to serve in the organization, really the individuals in the organization, to help them achieve their goals. That's what team playing is all about. That's the power of the teamwork piece of the T factor. Is this helpful to anybody today? I really hope it is. Because if I seem fired up, because I am. I had to learn so many lessons. My youthful lessons didn't kick in. My brain wasn't that sharp, but I get it now. We're all part of a large team. One of the ways I get to serve Toastmasters now is I've been serving for 15 years as the voice of the convention. Some here know that, some may have never known that, but I've been doing that for 15 years, and I've truly come to understand what it means to be a team player. And it's so cool. When I go to convention as narrator, an individual, a young lady sits next to me at the booth in the back of the room. She's the show caller. For the last few years, been Jacqueline. Now, I'm Mark Brown. Toastmasters Royal today call me world champion speaker. I've got the voice of Toastmasters. That's so cool. But you know what? When Jacqueline says hold, I hold. When she says call time for rehearsal, it's 9:30 a.m., I show up. The title means less if I'm committed to serving well. And maybe I'll step on somebody's toes by saying this. Your title is not so much about your position, it's about your responsibility. We often confuse authority with responsibility. Be a team player. Receive the authority, but act with responsibility and serve the people on your team. That's what teamwork is about. That's that T part of the T factor that can really transform the way you live, the way you serve, and the way your district achieves success. Now, I said transform. Before I touch on that, here's one phrase to take home with you. It's a catchphrase that's very popular, but because of the idea of me, that kid who did not get to go and play, but it was to serve the team, take one for the team. Take one for the team. Be willing to serve in a less prestigious role to serve your team. Yes, take time and take your time, but also take one for the team. That way you can begin a transformation, another transformation in your own journey, and who knows, your transformation may help transform somebody else. Transform. Transformation, in simple terms, talks about change. Do you think we've seen change in the world in the last 5 or 6 years? Do you think we're seeing change right now, not only in North America, but in the world? Change is a constant. And I could talk about change, and there may be folks who will say, you know what, I've heard it all before. You fold your arms, turn the camera off, take a nap, or whatever, or drink a beverage. But I sincerely hope we understand that change doesn't have to begin with our environment or our circumstance. You know where change begins? Right here. I love what Dr. Wayne Dyer said. We talk about who we are, how we identify. Let me pause for a second here. Can I be real for? Can I get real for a second here? I mean, I've been real before, but I mean, I'm getting raw real here. There are individuals who have worked hard to achieve a goal, and they identify themselves by what they've done. I heard a pretty sad story that I'm gonna share it anyway. someone passed, and they were arranging for the funeral, and they were organizing the service, the memorial, and they were choosing 6 pallbearers. They were selected, and they agreed to serve. Forgive me. One of the pallbearers was concerned that in the program, their name did not include, comma, PhD. I'm not making this up, okay? And I know this person, all right, personally. And I know how they value their education. But while people are grieving and mourning, they made it about themselves and their accomplishment. Perhaps, but I hope not, you may have at some point here encountered somebody in your district, maybe on your team, who tends to make it about themselves and their accomplishment. Do not point fingers, do not raise your hand, do not say a name. Do not type in the chat, don't do that. But what happens to us often is we want the label. People ask, who's that guy, Mark Brown? Yeah, I happen to have won a world title 10 years ago, but you know what? I'm a husband. I'm a dad. I'm an uncle. I'm a cousin. I'm a human being, man. People don't ask, oh, Mark, tell me about your world championship. They rarely ask. Toastmasters may ask about that, but people want to know, how can I serve them? And I always ask, how can I serve you? You can talk to Valerie Smith and Valerie Lyons. You can ask him. I told them I have one goal, is to be your servant today. I'll say it unashamedly. The title was the door for me to come and talk to you today, but it isn't about me winning a trophy 30 years ago. So what? Who cares? How can I serve today? And we carry these labels of who we are because of what we've done. It's a huge mistake. And Dr. Wayne Dyer says, examine the labels you apply to yourself, because every label may be a limit or a boundary you will not let yourself cross. I'm going to repeat that. He said, examine the labels you apply to yourself, because every label may be a limit or a boundary you will not let yourself cross. If you wish, I'm going to share that one slide with you. If you want to take a screenshot of it, you can do that. I'm going to share that slide real quickly. Here it is. Come on. It'll be a few seconds to come on the screen. Okay? Feel free, if you wish, to just take a snapshot and ask yourself, am I carrying a label? Am I carrying a nickname? Am I carrying a title that I choose to identify myself? Because sadly, too many of us view ourselves as what we do and not who we are. Ouch, Mark, don't say that. It is true. So I'm going to invite you to make a transformation, and I'm going to ask you to make it personal. I'm going to get personal before I close today about this piece of the T factor. Yes, time is important. Yes, teamwork. But 3, the transformation begins here. I invite you to examine the labels you apply to yourself and to see yourself a little bit differently. It's funny, I was going down the road in New York several years ago. I used to live in New York, and I was going by a construction zone. How did I know? Sign said construction zone. And then I turned the corner, I saw this car on the side, as they often do, had vanity plates on it, personalized plates. It had one word on it, Flagger, Flagger, Flagger. That was a personalized plate. I'm like, that's interesting. I went down the hill and looked, and there he was. Man standing there, hard hat, yellow vest, jeans working boots, a long pole. It wasn't bamboo, Charisse. A long pole with a sign that said stop on one side and slow on the other. Show of hands. You've seen that before, yes or yes? Excellent. Now, my background in computer programming kicked in. It's logic. And my mind said, oh, that car belongs to that guy. Am I smart or what? And as he turned it to slow, took his orange flag and he waved me through, Flagger, a thought occurred to me. I said, wait a second. Vanity plates, those or specialized, personalized plates, cost at sometimes 2 or 3 times the cost of a regular plate. If anyone here has personalized plates, give me a yes or a yes. Do they cost more than regular plates? Thank you. Okay, thank you, Walter. Appreciate that. It occurred to me this man invested extra money to create a personalized plate to tell the world who he is, what he stands for, and the value that's important to him. And he chose, of all the words to use, he chose the word flagger. I'm not discounting the value of his work, but is that who he is or what he does? What label do you use? What you do or who you are? So I was challenged. Mark, if you were to write your own plate, what would it be? I said, well, I like to minister to people and to share with people and help people. So I get my Georgia license plate from Bibb County where I live, and I would make my own plate. And I'd say minister. But I found that many personalized plates don't have any vowels. So I thought, okay, I'll just use MNSTR. That might be a good plate to use, right? What do you think? MNSTR? Anybody agree with that? Come on, tell me yes or yes. No? Yeah, it'd be great. So I did that, and I saw monster. I said, okay, I don't want to do that. So if I do get a plate, I might just call it myself SRVNT, servant. So here's a thought for you, friends, in terms of your own transformation. Given the opportunity to create your own personalized plate, what would it say? Don't tell me. Instead, being raw with you, I invite you today, before the weekend is over, invest a half an hour of your time, or an hour if you want, and seriously, introspectively ask yourself, if I were to create my own custom plate to proclaim to the world who I am, what would your personalized plate say? The transformation begins with me. I must, write this down, take charge of my change. So the phrase is, take charge of your change. Take charge of your change. The third T. The first was time. Take time and take your time. Second one was teamwork. Take one for the team. The third is take charge of your change. That's key. That's interesting. I think I just lost power in my other laptop. It's not good. That's all right. I'll keep going. I got 4.281 minutes. So change the way you see yourself first. And two other quick changes. One, change the way you see others. Because chances are, if I see myself by my title, I may see others by their title as well. I might see them by what role they have in their life. I might see them as unwittingly, unintentionally, as unqualified or less than. I'm being real here. It may be inadvertent, unintentional, but you think, oh, they can't do that. I wouldn't have them do that. And sometimes we see people in, again, the role. They see how great a job they do. That's wonderful. But maybe we also ought to see who's behind the job. Not only a great worker, or a great leader, or a great speaker, a wonderful coach, a great evaluator, but what about the person who's trying to get their son or daughter through college and things are tight? The individual who has a loved one in elder care, whose spouse is battling a serious illness. See, people see me, Mark Brown, world champion, awesome speaker. They don't know my daughter is battling multiple sclerosis. It has been for several years. They don't know that my sister, anyway. Part of undergoing change is to get to know the people who we are with, see them differently. Have conversations. Who are they really? If somebody seems to be off, not performing that well, you find out why. Always so busy trying to get the job done. Hurry, 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 like Steve. Change the way you see yourself. Change the way you see other people. And you can do that better if you change the way you see your past. What do I mean by that? In 1993, I collapsed in the parking lot of a shopping center in Yonkers, New York, with massive chest pains. Long story short, after being rushed to hospital, I was diagnosed with multiple pulmonary emboli, which basically means a whole mess of blood clots in my lungs. And that was the good news. The bad news was there was one massive clot inside my heart. Doctors gave me at best a 50-50 chance of survival. Well, you know I'm here because I survived, you know that. But I remember going through recovery, my doctor who had sat with my wife in tears, wondering if I would make it. After several weeks told me, okay, you're on the way to recovery, 10 weeks out of work, go back to work, go back to your life. I had several checkups. After about 6 months, he said, Mark, you know what? You're in good shape now. Go back and play that football game you love so much. I said, sure, doc. Didn't do a thing. 3 months goes by. He says, listen, you've got to go and work out, man. Do something. Get exercise. I said, okay, doc. So every morning I'd get up early. I would stretch. I'd jog around the block 5 or 6 times. I'd stretch. I'd pick the block up, put the block back on the shelf, and go back to bed. I wasn't taking the advice seriously. 3 more months, a year goes by, and he got in my face. He says, listen, you need to forget about what happened to you so long ago. Live your life, play the game, and serve your family. Forget it. Those 2 words, forget it, were the wake-up call. See, I've been living with the memory of what happened to me. It was almost 2 years. I was afraid to move forward. I was afraid to step out. I was afraid to get any kind of exercise. I was afraid to do anything because of what happened. And what happened to me was the past had bound me. One songwriter put it this way: are there burdens in your heart? Is the past a memory that binds you? Is there some pain you've carried far too long? And I confess I was carrying pain far too long. What I needed to do was to change the way I thought about my past and to activate my forgettery. Say, what? Yes, I call it the forgettery. It's the ability to put back to the side those memories, those experiences that have held us back, that get in our way, that prevent us from moving forward. We all have a forgettery. We don't always use it. I invite you, I ask you, is there a burden in your heart? Is there a memory from your past that's holding you back? Is there a medical issue, a financial reversal, a loss of a loved one, a severed relationship that's preventing you from pushing yourself forward like that bamboo and becoming strong and firm despite what you've been through? Is it time to activate your forgettery? Change the way you see your past. Dig in again. Lean in on those who want to know how you're doing, who want to encourage you, who want to lift you, who want to elevate you to a place of excellence. Yes, I invite you. Change the way you see your past. Change the way you see yourself. Change the way you see those around you. Take charge of your change. And as you pursue the second half of this year, like that strong bamboo, I invite you, District 103, take time and take your time. Take one for the team. Take charge of your change. Implement the T factor, and you will experience growth and success. I wish you success. I wish you blessings, and may you make this day and every day an outstanding day. Blessings to you all.
Ooh. Did you hear Mr. Mark Brown? Did you feel what he had to say? That was truly an experience. Mark, I would like to thank you on behalf of our district. That was transformational. So now that you have heard everything he had to say about time and teamwork and transformation. It is up to all of you to use his message to make a difference in your clubs, in this district, and in your lives. Are you ready? Let me see your hands. Yes. Woo, thank you so much. Thank you.